Watch this.
A tug of war all legislative session long. Does the state need to step in, or should lawmakers leave it in the hands of local governments? For one city, it seems the state is taking it a bridge too far. A local food truck has become a family affair for a brother and a sister. A look at how they got their business on the road and their plans for expanding. And a new live stream is providing a window into wildlife, where a nest of ospreys could breed connection between city folk and wildlife. This past week, a new state law forced the Progress Pride flag to go down at Boise City Hall. But if you thought that meant the conversation ended there, well, it didn't. If you remember, in 2025, a new law made it so only a short list of flags can be displayed at city, state, and county government buildings. That includes the U.S. and Idaho state flag, city flags, tribal flags, military flags. And after lawmakers passed that law last year, the city of Boise designated the Pride flag as an official city flag and continued flying it outside of City Hall. Well, then this year, lawmakers added teeth to the previous legislation, limiting the type of flags that can be displayed and adding a $2,000 daily fine if you break that rule. Well, new law also bans the Pride flag, as it is not an approved flag by the state. But what's unfolding now is bigger than just a flag. The city of Boise is speaking up after nearly a dozen proposed pieces of legislation either took away or looked at taking away the power from local governments and taking it into state hands. The Pride flag came down last week, but just inches away, it showed back up in a different form.
We'd had some really great feedback from residents on some kind of other ways to continue to express those values. Some of that revolved around art installations, and so there's a rainbow art installation on the plaza downstairs.
It's a workaround, but city leaders say they're following the law while still trying to send a message.
We want our residents to know that we are a safe and welcoming city for everybody, and this is a way that we express that. And I would say that the support that we received last year through this process, as well as this year, has been overwhelmingly positive from the residents of the city.
Do you anticipate that maybe they might be coming back next year after seeing art installations?
We'll see. It's hard to predict what will happen. Honestly, I hope not.
Passed at the 8th order.
But this isn't just about one piece of legislation. This session came with a wave of them. House Bill 557 would have prevented local cities and counties from enforcing anti-discrimination ordinances that go beyond current state law, effectively repealing existing add the word ordinances in cities like Boise and Sandpoint. House Bill 752 mandates sex-segregated restrooms in government buildings and public spaces, including restaurants, gas stations, and other local businesses, and creates criminal penalties for those who disobey. Senate Bill 1354 and Senate Bill 1352 also limit the city's ability to regulate various housing rules. And there were nearly a dozen that look to change the procedures of local government.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't feel like they're allowing cities to express local control. I think I saw an op-ed by a council member in Meridian who said that the legislature is, it's as if they're trying to make city council just a ceremonial position. So if they are saying they support local control, I don't think that's what's being felt by the cities.
Could you speak to the challenges of a mayor in dealing with legislation like this that seems to ignore, at least in my opinion, the principle of local control?
Now, it's often we hear the Idaho legislature say they want to play as little role in local government as possible.
This is one of many bills that we have struggled with regarding local autonomy and local control.
And I think we're misusing taxpayer dollars, and I think it is the purview of the Idaho State Legislature to make sure that there are some controls over our locals in that.
But Boise City Council President Meredith Stead says these laws are hurting her ability to represent the people who voted for her and live in her city.
When we had to take the flag down last week, it happened to fall on Trans Day of Visibility. And so we are taking the flag down and then turning around and doing a proclamation to recognize Trans Day of Visibility. And, you know, it feels really terrible to be feeling on one hand that we're being forced to erase part of this culture, and also on the other hand trying to continue to recognize them to the best of our ability. In the last week, I've had acquaintances and friends approach me in tears, letting me know that they feel like they have to move, that they don't belong here. And I think that we're just trying to continue to communicate to our residents that every resident belongs here, that there's a place for you here.
And after that new display out front of City Hall, it begs the question, will lawmakers respond again? Will cities keep adjusting? A big tug of war between the state and the places people call home.
We'll continue to fight to express our values and to share that communication with our residents so that they feel like everybody belongs here and has a space here.
Again, not all of these bills were passed into law, but some of them did, which limited local government. As for the new displays outside of Boise City Hall, the city says for both the window cling and flagpole displays, it costs nearly $6,000, which came from the city's existing operating budget set by the city council every year. Now, the city says the lights were no additional cost as they're part of City Hall and they rotate those themes as needed. These displays were approved by the mayor and council leadership and say they will display them for the foreseeable future. Now the 4-1, the man accused of shooting and killing at least one cat in Garden City appeared in court today. George Gibran faces misdemeanor charges for animal cruelty and discharging a firearm within city limits. As we previously reported, protesters believe he shot and killed a cat in a cage. In today's hearing, attorneys asked for extra time and said they're making progress in the case. The pretrial conference will continue May 20th. The Ada County Board of Commissioners has reversed course on a Boise Foothills shooting range. In a unanimous vote Tuesday, commissioners approved an appeal against the conditional use permit for a commercial range. That overturned a decision made by the Planning and Zoning Commission last November. Now, that permit had allowed a firearm training group to continue operating a range that had been active for more than a year without county approval. Well, despite the ceasefire in Iran, gas prices are still climbing. AAA reports the cost for a gallon of regular in Idaho is $4.32, making it more than $1.08 since last month. And that's the 4-1. A surge in immigration enforcement activity is being detected on Western Washington farms this spring, leaving some agricultural workers facing deportation and some Trump-supporting farm owners questioning the president's promises. Eric Wilkinson hears from one farmer who has been impacted as we go beyond the 208.
The owners of Barbie's Berries here in Whatcom County used to allow ICE agents to use their fields to look for dangerous criminals among the farm worker population, until they saw a different side of things. Workers prepare for the new season at Barbie's Berries in Ferndale, although owner Randy Kraft worries it isn't just his crops getting all the attention.
We're kind of like an easy picking area, I feel like.
Randy recently had 2 longtime workers get picked up by immigration agents and deported. Hardworking family men he's known for more than a decade.
Not even a traffic ticket nothing.
Western Washington agriculture advocates say this spring has seen a surge in ICE activity as workers return to the fields. Randy, a self-described right-winger, says he believed President Trump when he said agents were only going after the worst of the worst undocumented immigrants.
As far as I can tell, from what comes out of Trump's mouth, they're not supposed to be taking innocent people, good, hard-working innocent people that we need. I've been knocked right in my butt, I'll admit it. Yeah, I'm really disappointed.
The narrative that the administration is preaching really is not necessarily translating here on the ground.
Washington State currently ranks dead last in America for farm profitability. Industry advocates warn the threat of additional deportations may make labor difficult to find and this fall's crops difficult to harvest.
If that workforce is scared to even come to work because they or their family might be targeted by ICE, that puts your entire operation in jeopardy.
Randy feels his government has let him down. He hopes the only things being picked up in Whatcom fields from now on are crops.
I'm hoping and assuming and praying that they stop, going after the people we need.
Farm advocates say the Trump administration and Congress need to implement a comprehensive immigration policy rather than relying on fear and intimidation in these fields.
From a family kitchen to a Boise food truck, a sibling duo is bringing a taste of Norway to the Treasure Valley, and now they are moving into a permanent location downtown. Abby Wilt shows us how this duo is taking off.
A tradition rooted in family is now being rolled out for a whole new community.
We'd always sit around the table and, talk about why no one makes lefse really and why there's no businesses that really do that.
2 years ago, siblings Angeline and John Riley decided to change that, introducing Boise to lefse, a Norwegian potato flatbread.
I had to come up with a business plan, so I was just kind of like thinking of ideas, and it sparked the idea of Loving Lefse. We all just kind of were like, hey, this would be pretty cool.
Loving Lefse was born.
I wanted Lovin' Lefse at first because I don't know, I just thought like catchy, like I think of like McDonald's, like their slogan. Angeline really wanted Loving Lefse. That was like her first like argument.
Starting out of a single food truck and turning a family tradition into a growing business.
We take the food trailer to Green Acres and stuff like that, and we have had a great issue of selling out a lot of the time.
Not only were the two selling out fast, but Lefse is a 2-day operation from start to finish. At the food truck with no permanent kitchen, they say it was hard to make.
We've grown out of our food trailer, which is a really good problem to have. Our food trailer is our kitchen, so it's not like we can close down and make more because lefse is like a 2-day process.
Adding on the hassle of transporting the truck, and the two say it's time for a new home, or I guess an additional home.
We've kind of struggled with, finding the right numbers and like continuously selling out, and it came to the idea that we're like, we need a kitchen. We need somewhere where we can have a team that's consistently like rolling out the lefse.
Loving Lefse will open in a storefront at the heart of Boise's downtown historical district in the summer.
It's always been our dream to have a storefront downtown, and having it this early on is really a dream come true.
And the food truck, well, that'll also have a permanent location at Green Acres Park.
Obviously, we haven't been in business that long, and Green Acres really did take a chance on us, like coming to them and being like, we've never brought the food truck anywhere.
Angeline and Riley say their small dream has turned into a full-time operation.
I think it's going to be a really good opportunity, you know, for people to really see what we're all about.
But what's even more special is that they've been able to share their family tradition together with the Gem State.
I think it's gonna be really special for the Norwegian community out here as well. Like people walking by, seeing us roll out lefse like they did their whole lives.
And Loving Lefse is also looking to hire 20 people to work at the new location. So if anyone's looking for a summer job, got one for you there.
I love this. You know, it's cool to see how diverse our food scene has gotten. I mean, you're talking about that. We have French, we have Bat, like it just so vast. Okay, but my other question for you, if I was doing this with my twin brother, that would be a whole nother situation. So like siblings, do they fight?
I did ask them. They said no. And I'm like, really? And they were like, no, because we've gotten along really well. We actually get along really well in a professional setting. And I think they both can bring different ideas to the operation and make it just perfect. So
I mean, I guess
said no.
I believe him. I mean, I guess if you were raised together, then you should know you're good to go.
Yeah, so we'll trust him on that one.
Yeah. All right, Abby, thank you. Well, there are some of us who can't make it to the great outdoors on a Wednesday, but thanks to a new camera set up by Idaho Fish and Game, you can still catch a peek of nature midweek. Well, the setup is in Salmon, where a camera will follow an osprey's nest through the seasons of life. Now, it started live streaming all of their happenings just a few days ago with the Salmon River Mountains as its backdrop. One of the people behind this project, Tempe Regan, works for Idaho Fish and Game as a wildlife diversity biologist, and she says the project took a year and a half from the initial idea to completion.
Our main goal was, if we are going to do this, we need to try to have everything installed and running before the birds return, because once the birds are on the nest, we don't want to be interfering with any of their life history or activities whatsoever. And so we were able to, osprey generally return to Idaho in the beginning of April. This year they actually came in the middle of March, so a little bit early, but we were able to get the camera and everything installed March 10th, I think, and there were no birds for another week. So we got it done just in the nick of time, and they don't appear to care about the camera whatsoever.
Well, there are other live stream cameras across the West showing different wildlife in its natural habitat, like the Big Bear Valley Eagle camera in California and the Hellgate Osprey Nest in Missoula. These types of cameras can bridge the gap between people living in cities and wildlife.
If people can take ownership or relate to wildlife, they're more likely to put their dollars towards conservation or use their voices for conservation or enroll their kid in an outdoor school that then builds a connection with nature from a very young age for that person that then may either change their career path or benefit conservation in the future.
And as for the future, Tempe is looking forward to the research and educational value from watching the animals. Now you can watch this live cam at Idaho Fish and Game's YouTube page. And by the way, the reality of nature can be difficult to watch. There may be starvation or other natural causes impacting the nest, which Fish and Game will not step in to help with. Officers will only interfere if there is a man-made harm that makes its way into the nest, kind of like baling twine.
Well, we are enjoying another beautiful spring afternoon across southern Idaho. We see mostly clear skies, highs up around 70 in Boise today, mid-60s right now in Twin Falls and in Sun Valley, and a very comfy 56 in McCall. Hard to believe looking out there that we have active weather on the way. In some spots, it fires up as early as tomorrow evening. I don't think that's the case for Boise. My forecast for Thursday looks a whole lot like today. Sunshine, light winds, even warmer temperatures. We're back into the mid-70s tomorrow, but starting really late Friday and really into the weekend, we bring first alert weather conditions back into play as we have a stormy weekend on deck and then kind of a rainy Sunday. So widespread showers and stray thunderstorms likely again as early as Friday evening in some spots, getting much more widespread and prevalent on Saturday. Some of these storms, especially Friday night, could be strong, even potentially severe. So all that put together means be ready for the possibility of outdoor activities getting rained out. When thunder roars, head indoors. If you can hear the thunder, it's time to head inside until that storm has passed. And then especially by Sunday, we're right back to sweater weather with tumbling temperatures and those rainy conditions to wrap up our weekend. So looking at our big picture, we already are seeing some of that moisture sneaking on shore from this system that's been kind of just spinning its wheels for a couple days off the coast of California. It is going to meander eastward and eventually combine or be overtaken by another system dropping in out of the Gulf of Alaska. So all of those things coming together will really kind of amp up our atmosphere, make things unstable starting tomorrow, but again, more likely on Friday. And that's what will bring those spring storms back into the mix. Already this evening, this is a live look at our radar return. Some light rain popping up over far southern Owyhee County. I anticipate that activity to stay well south of the Treasure Valley. Looking at our day tomorrow, here we are about dinner time on Thursday. Couple little spot showers, maybe some dramatic looking clouds building in, but really that action ramps up further on Friday. This is Friday afternoon, eastern Oregon, central mountains. You could have some storms firing off. There's the potential here. This is late Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. as that system to our south really starts pumping moisture our way. We could have a very strong storm late Friday evening. This is right around sunset, so something to be mindful of there. And as we roll throughout the day, Saturday, you can see the rain and storms widespread. This is noon on Saturday. So again, plan those outdoor activities carefully. I know farmers markets are opening. Lots of us wanting to get out and hike. Saturday will be kind of iffy. Just be weather aware for those activities to start the weekend. Waking up tomorrow with clear skies overhead. We may see some readings in the 30s across the lower elevations, but mostly mid-40s. Daytime highs tomorrow under sunny skies. Absolutely picture perfect Goldilocks day. Mid-70s in the valleys. We'll hit the 50s and 60s up in the mountains. We stay mild Friday, but things start turning unsettled. There we are on Saturday with those splash and dash showers and storms. We land in just the mid-50s on Sunday, and we stay cool into early next week. It is 5:22. Let's take a quick check of those traffic conditions on our Wednesday afternoon. This view of I-84 at Garrity shows east and westbound lanes moving along pretty well. Our wider view of that current traffic flow does show really our only significant slowdown, as per usual, is that Flying Y merge point getting onto westbound 84. Little slow as you get out into Nampa, but no major problems right now. Your drive is only about 27 minutes from the Flying Y out into Canyon County.
All right, let's take a look at some of your comments. We have PJ in Nampa who says, it fascinates me how the Idaho legislature rails against the federal government for grabbing power from the states, while at the same time doing the exact same type of power grabs against our counties and cities. It's kind of like what we were talking with the city. They say, hey, you said you weren't going to do that, and you do that. So interesting to see there. Ken, who says the 208, next, the legislature will pass a law controlling flag pole colors. Just wait for it. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. All right, then we have Rick and Eagle who says, the 208, we are so blessed to have these inventive young entrepreneurs adding to the diversity of food offerings in our community. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I'm gaining weight because of it, but it's so worth it, I gotta tell you. Okay, and then we have Lauren of Sun Valley who says, send the food truck to Ketchum this summer. We need something new and good up here for variety. That's a good idea. I can come. Let's do a food truck festival in Sun Valley. I'll be there.